Hey everyone, welcome to another Yesshift broadcast, also simulcasting on Drum Talk TV. I'm Steven Schinder, this is my dad Dan Schinder, and we are joined by Anne Rinaldi and Tom Palmieri, who are going to be talking to us about ProgStock 2025. So first off, welcome to the show. How are you two doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us. This is going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, we're excited about this.
Yeah, we're just, we're looking at a great sunny day outside. So I think after we're done with this interview, we might actually go and enjoy it for once in a blue moon, since we're so locked in our houses normally.
Yeah, well, where you're located on a nice sunny day is great. In North Jersey, Steve's in SoCal. I'm in Southern Arizona, east of Phoenix, hiding in the mountains. Don't tell anyone. But Steve, let it rip. Let the hazing begin.
Right. So ProgStock 2025 is happening October 9th through 12th in Rutherford, New Jersey. But first off, I want to ask, how many years has ProgStock been going on, and what's the story there?
So this will be our 9th. So the first year that ProgStock hit the stage was in 2017, in roughly the same time of the year, in early October that year. At that time, I was actually, Anne was not yet involved. Myself and my huge, very, very, very great cadre of volunteers helped me pull it off. And then starting in 2018, Anne joined up until she joined really up last year in October when we.
So what was the story there, if you don't mind, her first coming on board? And I'd love to hear each version. Did someone realize you needed a babysitter in the whole scope of things? And was it yourself that realized that? What happened?
In 2017, I came up to ProgStock as a tour manager for one of the bands that was playing at the festival.
Oh.
And
she saw such a horrible job I was doing and said, "I got to fix you."
Really?
No, it was a good festival. It actually pulled off very well, and
really well.
But that's the beginning of a story that has its own weirdnesses involved in it. That I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me at least tell you how this thing got started, and then we can go into whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Spill the beans.
Stories you want to try and dig into our personal on. It's fine with me. I've always, everyone has their own story on this. I've been a progressive rock fan since I was about 13 years old. I'm going to be 56 this year, so do the math. And you can now calculate in your head what album was out and who it was. I'm not going to answer it. You guys can do that yourselves out there in the audience. But for most of my teenage life, I really wasn't able to go and see a lot of concerts. In fact, I think I saw 3 my entire life until I was in my 20s. So
was it a parental restriction or because of where you lived? If you don't mind me asking.
Financial restriction, as opposed to it just being something that was completely off the table as affordable, or that like the time could be given. Rather early on in my life, my parents divorced, and I lived with my father, and he was an entrepreneur. So he ran he ran one at a time, but ran barbershops and salons over his career, and that took a lot of his time, 7 days a week. So it was just not the ability to do a lot of things. Sometimes it was a special thing I could go and do. So, I did get to see a few things. The sad story I like to tell is that I had a ticket in my hands to see the Police when they were on the Synchronicity tour. And I mouthed off to my father a little bit too much. And my punishment was, as you might imagine, you're not going. Little did I know that a month later they'd broken up. Yeah. But I got to see them when they reunited, sort of, when they kind of.
Insert Kelso's burn gif here.
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, for most of my teenage life, getting to know progressive rock and very deeply, both fronts and backwards in the catalogs of various artists that were doing things at the time. And then come in the 2000s, I started to branch out and try to do things. I got to see Yes on their Union tour, and that really sort of sparked my interest. And then from then on, off I was going to as many shows as I could find a way to do. So in the mid 2000s or so, like in the 2010s, I started becoming aware of there were other people other than my little circle of friends at high school and in college. And I found I remember sitting down. I remember I was sitting at home and I had just had someone tell me about this extremely incredible event that had been going on for a long time called Nearfest, which was happening out at the time in Eastern Pennsylvania. And I learned about it in 2013, which is exactly 1 year after it ended. So,
oh wow, it does sound familiar to me. Yeah.
So, and that was going on for many years, for well over maybe almost 2 decades. So anyway, and on the heels of that, I started digging in other things. I found about Rossfest, which was also going on in Pennsylvania for a while until it moved down to Florida. And I found a local producer that was doing shows, the New Jersey Prog House, that did shows in New Jersey, and I was able to start getting into the scene, if you will. And then by the time 2014 rolled around, I made friends with someone, and we agreed that I would help manage their band. And that's a band that's currently producing excellent music today. It's called Circuline. Perhaps you've heard of them.
I have.
And Andrew Collier and I became very good friends, and we spent about a year together in that relationship until I realized managing is not really my sharp tack.
Well, band management.
Band management, right. Anne's is.
That's what I do.
She does that really well. But so in 2016, we cobbled together this idea, Andrew and I and a couple of other friends, most notably Robert Pashman from Third Degree, another great New Jersey band. And we thought about this idea of maybe we could put on a show. So the very first thing I did in 2016 was I had a party in a park around the corner from my house, one of those parks that has one of those aluminum roofed pavilions with some picnic tables in it. And I invited about 75 people, and 60 something of them came. We had 4 bands, and it was just a party. And at one point during the changeover, the rain started to just go insane. It was raining sideways at a time. And it was horrible. And you could see the building over there where the bathrooms were. I was always worried about people getting to and from, and we kept moving the electronics further in from the edges, so we didn't have a zap on stage. But I was on stage at one point, changing over to the 4th band, and the rain was just streaming down. And I said, "Well, here we are. I'm sorry that this picturesque setting has turned into Woodstock 1999 with water and mud, and the bathrooms are over there. We're not going to charge you $10 for a bottle of water." But this is here it is, right? Exactly. And someone out in the audience, when I had suggested, I don't know what we can call this thing, what it's become, and someone literally said, "How about ProgStock?" And that was it. It stuck.
That's how it came. What a great story!
And I don't even know who did it.
If that person ever comes out of the woodwork, we owe them like negative $10,000.
Yeah, we ought to have a share of the losses. Yes.
And a few bottles of $10 water.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right. So that's kind of how the name came about. But then that quickly turned into us saying, "Well, why don't we try and do one ourselves, but indoors this time?" And so by the time we got to 2017, we did one, our first one in the city of Rahway, New Jersey, which is where we were at the Union County Performing Arts Center for 3 straight years. And then COVID.
Right. And excuse me, I just want to rewind a touch. So, and you were at that first event where it was named?
Right.
Not the party in the park. She was at the first festival in 2017 in Rahway.
Yeah, the first actual ProgStock.
Right. And Anne was tour managing for the Dave Kersner band at the time.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, we know Dave's been on several times. Yeah.
So Dave Kersner band ended up playing ProgStock. Because another band fell off the roster.
Yeah, actually, I could briefly. You'll recognize the name, I hope. We had a great lineup. We still had a great lineup after all the changes. But one of the big losses that year, due to an injury, was that we lost Ecolin from coming to play with us, which would have been a real coup for us. And there were people I know. There were at least 10 people I knew of who were going to fly from overseas to see Echo Lynn play
wow.
live.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, they had to pull out, and Dave Kersner was our knight in shining armor.
So we we came up to the festival, and then we did a mini tour after that, about 10 days, but I think 7 dates with District 97.
Oh, I remember them. Yeah,
because we also played Progtoberfest, which out in Chicago.
That's
which
such a cool
hasn't
name.
happened for a few years now. But so yeah, we did a run, and that's where I met Tom. But at the time, both of us were married to other people, so there's a long personal arc in there that
we can avoid for now.
We don't need to talk about.
that's fine.
But I can say that we then ended up organizing ProgStock 2018 together. So this is, as an organizer, this is my 8th ProgStock and his 9th.
Right.
Great, that's awesome. Steve?
Yeah. And we'll show the roster for the upcoming one on screen in a moment, but we're curious, like, usually what ends up being the ratio when it comes to returning artists and artists who have not played at ProgStock before and it's their first time?
That's a good question. I would actually think we'd have to employ a statistician to answer the question in actuality. I have my feel for how it is. There are some artists that we have had revisit us a little more frequently than some others. But every year there's at least, now think of it this way, it's evolved over the years. Its footprint, its layout and schedule, how many acts there are, has evolved and changed a little bit. So it's not the same playing field every year. But right now we're in a format that we've used for the last 4 years, since the year before COVID, pretty consistently. Of the 8 main sets, I would say that we focus on at least 4 of them being bands that have never graced our stage before in any fashion, who are relatively new. They might be known or they might be not so known. And known, of course, is always in quotes because it's about the circle that would know about them anyway.
Exactly.
It's kind of niche, right? But there are those who come repeat when they have new material to share. And so if you look at the roster this year, there's a couple of folks who have been with us before. IO Earth has been with us before, but not only do they have new material to present, they also have a new format to present it in, which I think is exciting. They've only ever done shows with a horn and string section at their home theater in Birmingham, in England.
Wow.
And they are doing it for us this year. And there could be 4 horns and maybe 3 or 4 strings, and they're all, I think they're all.
And what's the rest of the instrumentation? That's really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And there's a couple of others that have been with us before in terms of main performers on stage. Peter Jones is coming back. He of Camel and Tiger Moth Tales, his own project, and lots of other things. But he hasn't been with us since the very first festival in 2017.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost a homecoming. We'd love to have him and his wife with us. And, of course, there's Rachel Flowers, who, as we kind of informally say, and we tell our real people, it isn't ProgStock unless Rachel's there. Because she was there from moment one. She and Peter Jones were actually the performers together with Francis Dunnery in the very first set to ever hit the stage in 2017. And that set is still talked about because that's when Rachel, during her piece of that trio shared set, she sat down with the beautiful Fazioli piano that theater has and played the entire 22 and change minutes of the Tarkus suite, just her, a piano and a microphone.
Wow.
She did the effects with her voice, and it was amazing.
Is there a recording or DVD of this or anything?
Not yet. The DVDs are not yet. That's in our plan. Has been for many years to take archival footage and do a highlights DVD or 2.
That would be great.
But it's on YouTube in a number of different people videoed it.
And
unfortunately,
even if we do a DVD, that performance probably won't be on it because of the licensing issues involved in being able to make a DVD with
Right.
You know what I
Tarkus.
say about that? I say screw licensing. They'll never find you.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Wow. If either one of us hears a knock on our door, we know who it
We
is,
won't,
right?
we won't last long as
Just
that.
kidding. That would be that.
I
I mean,
know
that
you're kidding.
alone should encourage people to want to go see her, especially if they're not that familiar with her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's
That's a
amazing.
neat
Yeah,
nugget
she's
of
an
info.
incredible performer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's one that we have every year. Like
Wow.
it's not ProgStock if Rachel Flowers isn't
yeah.
there.
It's kind of key.
So there are a few what we call stalwarts, you know. We've got Rachel Flowers coming every year. Michael Sadler has become part of our like almost like our ProgStock staff. His son Saren is our social media reporter.
He's grown up with us. It's just kind of weird.
But the reason that I bring them up is actually one of the things that happens at ProgStock, and we call these things ProgStock moments, but sometimes they become more than that, is that people that you don't expect appear on the stage with another band, right? So,
Oh, nice.
and people meet each other and form a project. Like, I don't know if you've heard of McStein Miniman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We know
Mark.
them very well.
They met at ProgStock.
Yeah, they were on. Steve, when did we do that? We did a fan Q&A session with them because
Oh,
Marco.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, first go ahead. When was that?
That was in June. We had them on for an online Q&A in our Drum Talk TV Brilliance site. Yeah.
Membership site. Yeah. So Marco is probably the first or second most offender on Drum Talk TV as far
Right.
as
Well,
being
that makes
interviewed.
sense.
Yeah. He's just a wonderful guy, amazing musician, both drums, guitar, composition, and we just generally like each other. In fact, he was going to come visit my wife and I and look for a house around where we live because it's a neat area. And we got COVID the week before, and we had it really bad the first wave. So we still have never met in person, but he's like a big part of what we do. Yeah.
But so this year, we have a completely new band forming for ProgStock 2025, and that band is Saren Gazer. And Saren is Welsh for star.
Oh,
and Saren is Michael Sadler's son's name. So it is Saren Sadler, Michael Sadler, Matt Dorsey, Jimmy Keegan, and Paul Bilatovich.
Awesome. Love Jimmy.
All of whom, other than Saren being the young new person, all of them have a great pedigree in the prog world. And then Saren is now part of that band. So that's and the leader of that band. So that's going to be amazing.
And all of them individually have played ProgStock before in various and other combinations or with bands at the parts of.
And the first year Michael Sadler joined us, which was my first ProgStock 2018.
Yes.
He actually came and did his first solo performance without Saga. And the band Enchant, most of the band Enchant backed him up.
Wow.
With Jimmy Keegan on drums.
Yep.
So this is like, so since 2018, Michael and Jimmy have been working together.
Michael and Rachel have worked together and released music together.
Yeah.
It's just amazing the things that have come.
Yeah, we've had Saga. We've had Saga twice.
Right.
They were there last year.
And another one you probably have noticed, Melanie Mel and Martin Schnella on the list are our dear friends from Germany who have been with us for a number of years. Yeah.
That's
and,
cool.
They met so many people at the multiple ProgStocks they've been at that the new Flaming Row album that they've produced has, I think Martin told me, 33 guest singers on it. And
all at the same time, like a choir.
Right. I told Martin, I said, when you come this year to play, I don't have enough mics for that, so don't bring all 33.
One at a time. One at a time.
But so many of the guest musicians playing with them have come from them meeting them at ProgStock, and
Well, another one that's becoming a regular is Mike Keneally.
Nice.
Yeah.
He joined us with his Zappa band in 2021, the year after the apocalypse. And he's been back a couple times since with, various projects, but this year he's actually bringing Beer for Dolphins with Brian Beller and Rick Masalam and Joe Travers on drums.
All the originals.
The original Beer for Dolphins.
Yeah.
And we're actually taking them out on a short tour after the festival all over the Northeast out to Chicago.
Someone told me that I think it was Randy McStein told us that Mike Keneally lives like near me. And there is
I told you too. Yeah, I just don't know what town. I keep forgetting what town he lives in.
Yeah, Miami maybe, because there's Miami, Arizona is the only other town next to us, and then there's
I think that actually sounds right. Actually,
okay, interesting. I'll have to track him down. That'd be great.
Okay,
if he's ever,
don't tell him we told you.
If he's
right,
ever,
no, I'll tell him Randy did. Because
every time I text Mike, he's on the road. It's like good luck finding him at home.
Yeah.
Before I ask another question, Steve's going to show the poster. And
let me zoom in. So we'll kind of scroll down row by row, but this will be October 9th through 12th. Both at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey, and people can check out ProgStock.com. Sorry, you were about to say something, Dad? Or
you froze for just a second. You're good though.
You're good though. Yep.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize. But we got Steve Hogarth, and this will be his U.S. debut. So
as a solo artist, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Steve Hogarth with Marillion, and is that H Natural? It says H Natural there. Is that it?
Yes,
okay.
That's what he calls his project when he's by himself. Yeah.
Yeah, he's our Sunday headliner.
Nice. And
that's a new guitar chord, by the way. H Natural.
Yeah, good luck with that one. You need 12 fingers.
And Pattern Seeking Animals. We've had Jimmy Keegan on Drum Talk TV to talk about that project before. Mike Keneally and Beer for Dolphins, like you mentioned. 10 Earth from the UK.
That's IO Earth.
IO Earth. Sorry.
It's like everybody.
I knew it was IO, but the way that it's written made me think of 10. So
the font,
it's like everybody thinks AI is Al.
Yeah, that's even more frustrating.
My good friend Al.
My good friend Al.
Yeah, Michael Sadler.
Wait, but that's even funny, being that the I stands for intelligence.
Yeah,
so
right. Exactly.
Oh yeah. Michael Sadler of Saga, and the Saga. I think last year was my first time properly listening to a set of Saga music, through the live stream. So what's cool about ProgStock is you get to discover or listen to bands that you've been meaning to listen to for a while, and also discover bands and artists that you've never heard of before, and then become a fan of them. So that's what I love about festivals like these.
Yeah. And if you watched the Saga set last year, I'll just apologize. We had a little technical difficulty getting that set off the ground, but Saga's been with us twice.
That's great.
And when Michael came the first year in 2018, it was really partially him being interested in doing a solo set, and partly him and his dear wife Gwen testing the waters to see if we were worthy of bringing the big ship. And hopefully we passed the audition.
Apparently we passed the audition. Right. So last year they were the witnesses at our wedding ceremony. Yeah. So
Oh, that's nice. And he just still sounds so amazing. He sounds great.
Incredible. In fact, he's about to board a boat tomorrow for the On the Blue cruise in Boston Harbor, where he's performing with some band he's never performed with before. So it's going to be great.
Cool.
Yeah. And you've also got Derek Schulman of Gentle Giant. We're going to have him on the show next month to talk about his upcoming book, Giant Steps. Is he going to be talking about that at ProgStock as well?
Yeah, actually. So Derek is one of a handful of non-music performing people who will be in the room,
right?
Or in the facility. And there's going to be 2 interviews that Derek Schulman is part of, and his interviewer will be Larry Fast of Synergy and Peter Gabriel. those will be fun. But there's a couple of others we have like Derek as well. In fact, there's at least one or two that aren't on this poster that we can talk about at a later point.
Okay.
When you email with or talk to Derek next, please remember this. Tell him, hey, we were on with Dan and Steve Shinder, and Dan says you got to wear the white jumpsuit to the ProgStock.
It's funny. Just yesterday, I pulled up something on my Facebook Reels or something, some video, and it was 4 great songs from Freehand being played live, and he was there in the white jumpsuit.
In the white jumpsuit, yeah, and that means John Weathers had his athletic A's baseball.
Yeah, he had the A's tee on, he had the cap on, everything. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I got to go watch that later.
It's going to be fun though to have Derek out there with his book. The book just coincidentally is being released like 2 days before the festival starts.
Great.
So we're going to have a stack of those for him to sign for folks.
I was just going to ask. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he'll do the Q&A. And he's a really nice, great, personable, but also very interesting person to chat with. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
One quick thing about Derek. A while ago, it's got to be over a year, maybe a little more. A band you might have heard of called ProgStock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They were playing a show at the Iridium.
Yes.
This is back when Michael Sadler and Matt
Dorsey
were in ProgStock, the first version of ProgStock. And we were going to that show, and I knew what their set list was, or at least part of it. And so that night we invited a couple people to the show, namely Derek Schulman and Eddie Jobson. And they both came to the show. And of course, there's Ryo Okamoto playing Rendezvous 602, not knowing that Eddie was in the audience until after the show. And he killed it, obviously. He did a great job. And then, of course, they did One Gentle Giant number while Derek was there, and he enjoyed it.
That's great. Which one?
Spain, I think they did.
Yeah.
Yes, right. So
which one?
2 weeks in Spain.
Oh, cool. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Wearing a white jumpsuit?
No.
Okay.
Although I'm sure they could have talked Rio into it.
Or they could have talked Michael into it. Actually.
Yeah, that too.
That would have been fun. Yeah.
No, yeah, ProgStock are amazing. I love the show. I saw them do, I think last month it was. And yeah, they really honor the material by those huge 70s prog rock bands from back in the day.
They do a great job. And we're hopeful to have them in the near future for maybe one of our Thursday night pre-festival events, which is kind of where we will do a tribute or a cover to classic progressive rock, either as a dedicated band or a mix of ones like ProgStock. We were slated to have them in 2021, and they unfortunately had an issue and had to pull out and change a bunch of dates on their tour. That's how we met Mike Keneally for the first time, because I met him, or I think we together met him at Prog Day, another wonderful festival every Labor Day in North Carolina that we're prepping to go to soon. And he was there playing us as a solo set, as also a fill-in for someone who had to back out of that festival. And I just asked him, is there any chance one of your projects is available? And he said, well, let me call. And he spent hours on the phone with the Zappa Family Trust and Ahmed for us in order to get the Zappa band to fill in that year. And I will always be appreciative to him for that, for jumping through that hoop.
Which actually brings us to the next thing on the poster, which is Fred Barchetta, which is our one tribute band this year, playing Rush songs on Thursday night.
It'd be funny if they left out Red Barchetta and just didn't even play it.
Yeah. That'd be the elephant in the room, literally.
Yeah. And the fun thing is Darby Gould is their lead singer for that project. And she was Grace Slick's hand-picked replacement for Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the pipes on that gal.
Yeah, for sure.
But Fred Barchetta is also the band Points North when they're without Darby. And Points North is on the roster as well this year for an opening set, I think, on Saturday morning. Yep. Well, Saturday early afternoon.
Yes.
It feels like morning to me.
Yeah.
And after Steve finishes the poster, I'll read some comments too.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah. So we also got Rachel Flowers, who we were talking about a good deal earlier. Annie Haslam, an
Nice.
intuitive abstract expressionist. We've had her on the show before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is she performing, or is she showing her art? Or
Yeah, she'll be showing her fine art. She's been with us once before doing the same thing. But Annie is not is not into performing at the current moment. I think Renaissance just had their farewell tour,
right?
But Annie's a good friend. We've kept in touch with her for quite a while, and she really loves to put a lot of focus on her painting, and she's really, really good at it. So she'll be there to showcase and perhaps sell some of her artwork.
Nice. Yeah, and also got Dean Arnold, pumpkin sculptor. Really cool way to get into the Halloween spirit.
Yeah, especially in New Jersey in the fall. It's great weather, and Dean started with us a number of years ago. I want to say it was in 2019, the last before COVID, I think, was his first year with us. We met Dean Arnold at another mutual event many years ago, and he is just amazing what he is able to do and what his team does using pumpkins as the medium for sculpting. This is not your run-of-the-mill jack-o'-lantern. This is This is true on using it as a sculpting medium, as you can see just from the picture on the poster. But there was one year, you'll remind me of the year. It's relatively recently, the last few years, where one of Dean's team members, Sarah Blostein, using a picture, a photograph to sculpt from, sculpted a likeness of Michael Sadler, including with him wearing glasses, that was so incredibly good. I think that somebody put it out in the lobby at the hotel where Michael and his family were staying, and he came down to the lobby just to see himself in a pumpkin, and he startled the hell out of him.
Yeah,
but he loved it.
Well, Michael says, normally, he's not as famous that he can't just walk through a grocery store with nobody staring and pointing, right? And he came down into the lobby of the hotel, which that year happened to be, it was 2 years ago, happened to be not a hotel where a lot of the attendees were staying. So he, relatively, in obscura, right? And then all of a sudden he comes down that morning and everybody's staring and pointing, and he's like, what did I do? Like, is there looking at his shirt for stains,
Is my fly open?
And then he walks into the lobby and goes, oh my God.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the last band that's on the poster there, it's just their logo, is Funhouse Mirrors.
Right.
And they're actually a local band. Not a single member of that band is over the age of 25.
Neither am I.
The progressive rock is young and healthy and moving on.
Yeah.
It's great.
And that's so cool to hear. Cool. Steve, thanks for running us through that. And
there's this other poster that I think might have more names on it.
Yeah, right. This is our lineup card, if you will. And there's a little bit of a scoop here, to be honest with you. I've only mentioned something on this card to one other person last night on a radio show on House of Prog. If you look closely,
it says Anne's going to be there.
Yeah, wow, you freed yourself up. That's pretty good. Thanks. But if you look down at the exhibitors at the very end of the list,
the yellow part.
Yes, the yellow part, second from the bottom. So festivals are complex animals. For everyone involved. There's a great tautology for the day. But every year there's issues that you have to deal with in life. This year we've already had our own internal issues, but those related to the roster, sometimes things go wrong. So, for example, the poster that you showed previously, Stephen, had another New Jersey band on it right next to Funhouse Mirrors called Orpheus 9. And yes, I had to go and reprint the posters multiple times. That's life, right?
Right.
But that band, who has played with us once before, is a New Jersey band, but they had to pull out due to some family issues with the founder of the band, and completely understandable. and that's why we replaced them with We Came from Space, a band that Bill Hubauer is bringing to us. But then a little while later, we learned that Patrick Moraz, who was originally slated to be with us this year, had some health issues, and he was recommended by his doctors to stay home and kind of get through it for the rest of the year. So he had to back down, unfortunately, but we'll have him again in the future. And then most recently, we learned that our stalwart fine artist Paul Whitehead of Genesis and Vandergraaf Generator album art fame could not attend this year due to his own medical procedure that he went through and the discomfort he's feeling. So we were just thinking about other things we might be able to bring to the experience. And it just so happens that we, through connections, we had the idea of bringing an author this time, a science fiction author, not just like Derek Schulman writing a nonfiction book about his life. And that's Kevin J. Anderson, who you see there on the right-hand side. And those who are into sci-fi, and boy, statistically, someone should do a study on this.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a tremendous overlap between the progressive rock audience.
I know that he's written at least a few. Yeah, like I know he's written some Star Wars books, and he also helped Neil with the Clockwork Angels book.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
He worked on multiple Clockwork Angels material with Neil. He worked, he wrote a number of novels with Brian Herbert in the Dune series.
Yeah.
Lots of Star Wars, Star Trek. He's done it all in a lot of different ways. But most importantly, right now, there was a Kickstarter campaign. I think it was Kickstarter. It might have been some other crowdfunding. For a project called Terra Incognita, which is a huge collaboration with a number of progressive rock artists, a handful of which are actually going to be at the festival, like Ted Leonard and Michael Sadler.
That's cool.
And perhaps Eric Norlander if he joins us as a guest this year. So, so he's going to be there showing off this new book series, which we were proud co-sponsors of, or at least part of the Kickstarter campaign. So that's going to be fun. And it's great that we got him. Actually, it's luck. I'll consider it luck because it was just one phone call and a couple of days later getting it done. Because the same weekend as ProgStock in New York City is when New York has their Comic-Con at a big convention center over there. And normally Kevin would be involved in something like Comic-Con, and he may in future years for other projects. But we got lucky that we could grab him before someone else called.
That's cool.
And another new member of the roster that also is music adjacent, but not coming to play music, is Armando Gallo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so and he'll be showing off some of his photography. And he has all the great old pictures of Peter Gabriel with all the masks. And Genesis,
I have the book on my shelf back here.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That I've had since it came out, actually.
Nice.
Come to the festival, bring it with you. Armando will sign it.
I would love to. Let's look at some of the comments. Here's a few. You're watching live on Facebook. We have Britt Mittenmeyer. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm watching from Winston-Salem, BC. I know Roymond Wunderlich quite well. He is my nephew, and I'm surprised to see his name pop up on my cell phone. This is the first time on Drum Talk. Now I listen. Awesome. Follow us. There's lots of fun stuff. Thanks so much, Britt. And then we've got watching live on YouTube. Hey, Rob Liddy says, I'm looking forward to finally attending ProgStock.
Yes, finally.
We're looking forward to finally having you.
That's right.
That's awesome. And then we've got, let's see, we scroll down a touch. That's me saying I'm telling everyone I'm going to some of the comments. And Harry Whitley is watching. Hey, Harry, how are you? Hope you're well.
How are you doing?
From Asia.
Right.
From Asia.
Yeah,
and then
we've got say hello to our good friend John Christian Mitchell for us, please.
Yeah. And the band. I don't think he lives there. And then we've got a hello from David Crotchfield and wow, nice band in response to the poster, watching live there. Now the question I have, or did you have something first, Steve?
Just real quickly, I just want to say, you mentioned Patrick. I really loved the performance he did at one of the previous ProgStocks I was able to watch on the stream. What's he like as in person? I gotta ask.
So here's one thing I'll say. Patrick and I hear Armando is very similar. They are very spirited. Okay.
Yeah.
And both when Patrick came with us a couple of years ago, Larry Fast interviewed him as well. And we were told this would happen, and then we saw it happen, which is you get in a room to interview Patrick Moraz, and in about 3 minutes, Patrick Moraz is interviewing you. He takes over the whole thing, and it's cool. It's absolutely incredible to watch. It's unbelievable to watch.
Unbelievable.
And he's a lot of fun. He is. I mean, he would never take this as disrespect. He and his wife are such beautiful people. But he is like a little kid in a candy store every time he is anywhere. And the energy that flows out of him, the love for the music that he's done, the music going on around him that he may have never heard before, just the people being around him. He's like, I could never look at myself in the mirror and be depressed without thinking about what the hell. How can I be depressed? Patrick is probably singing right now somewhere.
Yeah, he's off playing the piano.
He's just amazing, and
that's awesome.
We wish him the best and hope he gets better as
so,
quickly as possible.
So prolific, right? So
yeah.
we stopped in Sarasota earlier this spring, and had dinner with Patrick and Phyllis, and he brought like a whole briefcase full of stuff that he wanted to share, and he's writing poetry. He's and we will actually have his artwork at the festival, even though he won't be there. We'll have his artwork and his CDs available at the festival. He's painting. He's writing complex, symphonies. He's writing poetry. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's his tag word. But it really is. He really is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the word definitely works for him. Sweetest person ever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so my question is, you've been doing this for a while, and tell everybody, like, what are some of the X factors that you feel define this year's ProgStock that differentiates it from other years, other than a different roster, of course, but
right.
What's going to be different about the feel, the vibe, what people can expect?
I would say it's going to be, we've built what is in essence a slightly evolved format since we moved to the new venue in Rutherford, the Williams Center, which we did our first year there in 2023. And we it's not that we didn't love what was in Rahway. We wanted to do more than we had been doing, which the facility in Rahway just didn't allow for. The Williams Center has other rooms we can use. Not that we will do competing music. We're not fans of multiple stages that are running simultaneously, but we do have other rooms that we can have things like that you might think of at a convention, like at Comic-Con itself, like a vendor room and an art and other things adjacent to the music. And as you see on the roster, things like interviews with giants of the field, you see, artists, and we're all constantly trying to expand it. So this year, notably, it's going to be bands that have literally come together out of whole cloth, like Serengazer. That's going to be a new and different thing for us. Having Kevin J. Anderson is going to be new and different for us. Having something that isn't necessarily directly in the music realm, but is very closely associated with it. And every year we're trying to think of more and more to do. I don't think we've gotten to the point yet where we're going to have a dunk tank, but that might happen in the future. You never know.
Wait, if you ever have a dunk tank, you got to tell Derek I said he's got to wear the white jumpsuit.
Okay, sure. Okay. But look, the whole point is every year we try to think, hey, is there something else we can add to this without exploding, like without it going off the rails? And also without using up too much of what I think of as the white space. Like there's music for an intense period of time for anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. And then there's supposed to be a break for a couple of hours for everyone, including the production crew to set things up. But for the audience to choose to grab a bite, talk with friends, maybe go see one of the other things that we have going on. So we're just trying to figure out how to keep that balance, but also have variety. And so we have a couple of things that are more varied than last year.
Yeah. And I do think that, for us, the big thing is that convention feel that is that's growing as we add things. Like I can kind of walk you, through. When you come from the outside the venue, we have Robert Schindler with this vast keyboard and guitar setup, and other artists just walk out there and jam with him.
Yeah, whether they're performing artists on the roster or they're just guests.
You don't even need a pass to the festival to do that.
Cool.
Our pumpkin sculptor, who is he's world famous in the pumpkin sculpting world. He's been on Food Network. He's been a judge on Halloween Wars. If you watch those Halloween shows on the Food Network, he's going to do a sculpting class outside. You also don't need a pass to the festival to buy a ticket to the sculpting class and learn how to sculpt a pumpkin instead of carving a pumpkin.
That's cool.
You come into our lobby and you're going to see the ProgStock merch stand where the t-shirts and glasses and all sorts of fun ProgStock stuff are, but also Patrick Moraz's artwork. You'll see up on the balcony, you'll see Annie Haslam and her artwork, probably Victoria Flowers and her artwork. And then right behind the lobby in the Spring Hall is where all the talks are happening. So you'll have the Derek Schulman talk. You'll have the Kevin J. Anderson might step in there at some point. The Armando Gallo talk. But also we have an entertainment attorney who's the attorney for the festival, but also a friend of ours and a bass player, Ron Beanstalk, who actually comes and gives a talk about how to do music publishing as an independent musician.
Great.
So that's where you get into like, wow, this is more of a convention. And then inside the black box, which used to be the loge and mezzanine of the vaudeville theater, that is the Rivoli Theater, but they've now flattened it out into a space above the seated space in the theater, is where you're going to see Michael Bennett from Prog Day showing off his artwork, and you're gonna see the Bandwagon USA, which has taken over all of our artist merch, and they represent literally hundreds of artists in this genre from around the world. So it's a place where you can get CDs without having to pay, shipping and import, fees and all that stuff. And you'll see the pumpkin sculptors. There's a team of 4 this year. Mm-hmm. You'll see EMIAP, the Museum of Music Technology, showing off some cool stuff. They actually bring us Greg Lake's Nord stage 2 every year, and Rachel plays it on stage, and sometimes other artists play it as well. And we carry it around with white gloves on and panic in our eyes. And then down in the little bit over 600 seat Rivoli Theater is where you'll actually experience all the live music. And as Stephen has mentioned a couple of times, all of our stage shows are live streamed. So in just a couple weeks now, we'll be opening up the ticket site for the live streams. So people from around the world can see ProgStock. They can see the music, at least, of ProgStock from wherever they are, if they aren't able to travel to the festival.
If they can stay awake for it, because it is a live stream that only plays once while it's live.
Yeah, so. It's a live stream, no reruns.
That's great, though.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So Steve, why don't you put the poster back up and scroll down to the bottom so that people could see where to get tickets. If they're watching it on a laptop or PC, they can use their phone to scan that QR code at the bottom, or they could type in the website that's right above that section, I think. Or it's the other poster. Yeah.
Yeah. So people can go to, so here's a thing you can scan, and you can also go to progstock.simpletix.com. The Tix part is TIX, and we also have the links in the description of this video or audio post if you're watching or listening. So
yeah,
where
we are seeing it. Great. And the dates again, folks, for everybody?
October 9th through 12th. That is a Thursday to a Sunday. So
awesome.
And depending upon the line of work you're in or whatever other things going on in your lives, It is what we have referred to in America as Columbus Day weekend. So some people do have the Monday off from whatever their work or school or whatever. So that might prove beneficial. But I've learned over the years it also happens to be Canadian Thanksgiving. And a number of people have come to us from Canada because they have that time off or can leverage it and choose to come down to visit us.
Well, good on them for copying us on yet another holiday.
Yeah, that's right.
That is cool, though, that it does free a lot of people up.
That second Monday in October. So
great. Well, we want to thank you both for coming on and sharing all these great stories and the history of it, as well as what people can expect to see. And we can't wait to see some highlights online and, see what's going on.
We hope you guys come out and actually experience some of those highlights yourself. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we would love to. We got to look at our calendars and see if we can pop out there. I would love to do that. So we'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah, scheduling can get tough on our end.
We'll sure, I understand. But Dan, you've got to fly out nearly 2,500 miles in order to sit and talk with Mike Keneally, who probably lives minutes from your actual.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Share the same zip code probably, or he's one digit off.
Right.
Because my whole city, it's hard to say city. I grew up in LA. I moved here from Las Vegas, but it's incorporated, so I have to say city.
Right.
Our city is about 7,500 people, and it's all one zip code. Miami's all one zip code. It's a town, and it's, I think, about 3,500 people. So I think he lives in one or the other. And it's from my house, which is on the far east end of Globe. Miami's about 15 minutes to the furthest west end of Miami from me. So they're right next to each other, not that far across. It's like a 12, 14-mile stretch, something like that. So it's a neat little mountain community, and we love it here. I tell people that 9 years ago, my wife and I basically had an F it moment and just wanted to get out of city living. And we acclimated so quickly that when we would go down to Phoenix or go to Vegas to visit those kids or SoCal, it's like sensory overload. I'm giving people the finger driving like I used to drive. It's a whole different world. But we're better at it now. But it'd be great to come out. And Steve and I will talk about that, and we'll get back with you on that.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, and Rutherford, one of the things we didn't really talk about is Rutherford, the town that we're in, the borough of Rutherford, is a really great place. It's adjacent to East Rutherford, where MetLife Stadium is, right? So chaos, right? But Rutherford itself, on the other side of the tracks from East Rutherford, is just a really, really great city full of incredible restaurants of every type. I've never eaten bad food in Rutherford, and so there's a lot of places for people to go, and we have people that stay all day Monday and just explore the town. But it's also a 20-minute train ride from Manhattan.
Wow!
Or bus.
Yeah, you can hop right on the train in the train station, which is about 500 yards from the venue, and you're in Manhattan in 20 minutes.
Cool. Lots to be there, that's for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Steve, tell everybody where they can find us.
You can find us at Yesshift on Facebook and YouTube. Go to anchor.fm.
Pressing all the wrong buttons. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's going on here? All right, go ahead.
I'll just move my mouth.
I'm new here. Okay, go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
Just Google Yesshift. You'll find us.
Yeah, there you go. That works. All right. Thanks, folks. And those of you watching on Drum Talk TV, thank you so much for following what we do here on Yesshift as well. We'll be back with a lot more fun very soon, maybe sooner than you know it, maybe sooner than you want it. I don't know, but we'll see you all soon. Thanks. And Ann and Tom hang out for a moment with Steve and I afterward. Thanks, folks.
Thank you so much for having me.